Alright, so today is the 9th day of the movement control order here in Malaysia, and it's kind of sad that the government has extended the MCO to the 14th of April, which means we're not going back to our studio for as long as it is. But here we are, back to 7 years ago where I just started the channel. I guess some of you guys might actually miss this, albeit it's a really simple setup. So I've actually moved back all my stuff from the office to my room here, which I've set up like a temporary office until the movement control orders is lifted. Let's hope it doesn't extend way beyond April 14, and I hope you guys are staying home and staying safe and doing some fun stuff. So today in this video, we are going to talk about the Galaxy Z Flip. Oh, I put it the other side. Yeah, it's pretty confusing sometimes when you want to open the phone. You just kind of get confused which position that you're supposed to do that. Even though I've been using like for a week already, I still get confused on sometimes when I open the phone. Oh, I actually just flip it open to the other side. It just happens sometimes. But yeah, I've been using the Galaxy Z Flip for about a week already, and I know you guys may have seen a lot of reviews out there about this phone, like how fragile it is and whatever. But to be honest, after using it for a week, I can definitely see some ways on why I would make the Galaxy Z Flip as my daily driver as compared to a typical candy bar form factor smartphone. Because as you can see, the Galaxy Z Flip is a pretty compact smartphone once you fold it up. And I actually like the fact that it's so compact that it doesn't make my pocket feel really bulky. Of course, you do see a bump once it folds up. That's pretty common with any foldable flip phones out there. And I think Samsung has really done a really good job on making the Z Flip a really premium and special device that I would personally buy this if I can, once the price drops, of course. Now, let's start off with the design of the Galaxy Z Flip. Now, a lot of reviewers out there has complained that there is a very small gap when you fold it up, and there's even some mini gaps that you can still see. It's a very dense gap, I would have to say. It's not very huge, but definitely if you go to beaches or if you're exposed to some dust, definitely it could just get it into the hinges over time. But what I have to say is that Samsung has done a really good job on making sure that the hinges are tightly sealed. At least once you hold it on hand, you just kind of feel that it's such a solid device that you will actually fall in love. Well, I have my experience with the FlexPi folding phone back in CES, and that FlexPi feels kind of fragile, but this one, it's solid. Look at this, look at the hinges. So I can just close it, and when I flip it open, just put my thumb inside, and whoo, there you go. Now, of course, to those OCD kind of people, you might actually find that the bezels here are kind of a little hideous, but I would have to say that this is what it is. You gotta get used to it. And the good thing here is that Samsung has actually done some subtle design stuff. So if you look over here at the bottom, there's actually a small rubber over here that protects the top bezel from being scratched or having a mark when you actually close the smartphone like this. So I would say that that's a pretty good job, well done, Samsung. I actually like the fact that it has a side-mounted fingerprint scanner. So when I want to turn on the phone, flip open the phone, and I just have to tap my thumb on the side, and it just unlocks. Boom! It's much more reliable than those in-screen fingerprint readers. You can also use this little screen over here. Look at this. I can just double tap on the power button, and it turns on the camera just like this. So it actually switches between the wide and ultra wide angle lens by just tapping this. Just tapping on the screen, it switches between the lenses, and all you need to do is just put up a high gesture just like this, and it will take a selfie. That's actually pretty simple and straightforward. Now, of course, this mini LED display out here isn't just for selfies. You do also get notifications. So there you go. One thing that I don't like is that when I turn it this way, it just doesn't rotate. As you can see, just doesn't rotate that well. You just gotta get used to it to hold it this way and to feel the mini LED screen like this. So I would say that this is kind of a not to say it's extremely useful, but I would say that it's good if you want to check out your notifications. let's say if you're having a meeting in front of a friend and you put your phone in front, there's a notification that comes in. You don't need to like flip the phone and check out what's going on. You can have a sneak peek through the screen to find out what notifications are there. Just tap on it and it will actually show you details of that notification. And if you decide to take a look at it, simply tap again and you can just open your phone and you can take a look at that notification by jumping directly into the app, and that's pretty useful. Now, let's talk about the Infinity Flex display. Now, that's a fancy name that Samsung has named its display here. So this is a 6.7-inch display. It feels tall, and if you watched my Domino's Pizza video yesterday, you will actually find that I am having a slight difficulty in managing the phone with one hand. And that is true because the phone actually has a 20:9 aspect ratio, and that's pretty much like the Galaxy S20 Plus, which I'm currently reviewing right now, so stay tuned for that on our website. And it just feels really tall to use with one hand once you extend the screen. But the good thing is that you can actually forward like this if you intend to use it like this way. But still, if you want to touch something, you still gotta stretch your hands to touch the top part of the screen, so that's probably not a really good idea. But during this period, I just find that this screen is actually great. There is still a crease on the middle on the folding part, but that's not visible. But once you actually start watching Netflix movies and start viewing content, especially when there's a dark background, you really don't notice that crease when you're using it. So it's not so frustrating at all, and I actually find it really enjoyable watching the screen. This is definitely a really beautiful dynamic AMOLED display that Samsung has done here. Now, the one thing I actually find a little bit disappointing is that they didn't include stereo speakers on this thing. I mean, there is definitely enough space up here for a loudspeaker. I know it's quite small, but definitely it's still possible to squeeze in a small speaker here so that they can actually make it stereo speakers. But trust me, the speaker on this thing is still actually pretty decent. Performance-wise, the Galaxy Z Flip really delivers that because it's powered by a Snapdragon 855 Plus chip mated to 8 gigs of RAM and 256 gigabytes of internal storage. Now, the 855 Plus may be last year's chipset, but it is still by all means a really powerful chipset for today's flagships. It has been used by many gaming phones last year and it has delivered really great performance out of the box. And the same thing goes to the Z Flip. And in fact, I personally feel that it's a lot more responsive than my Note 10 Plus, which actually comes with an Exynos chip and is the direct competitor to the 855 or the 855 Plus. It's a really smooth chip and gaming on this is really smooth. It delivers the exact same performance that you would expect from those gaming phones out there. Runs games like Asphalt 9, PUBG Mobile at 60 frames per second, and the only downside is that the top part here will get a little warm, but it's not up to that uncomfortable level, which I find it's great. So even though this is not a gaming phone, it can really game. The one thing that most of you might probably worry is the battery life of this phone. Now, this comes with a 3300 mAh battery, which is kind of impressive because they managed to fit in a 3300 mAh battery into this slim chassis. And to be honest, power efficiency has so far been really acceptable based on my 1 week usage. So I've been doing things like Netflix streaming, Spotify music listening, browsing social media over this entire week, and average out a screen on time of about 3 hours. So up to the end of the day, I would usually still get around 26% of battery left based on my usage, and I think that's actually pretty decent if I compare it with my Exynos variant of the Galaxy Note 10 Plus, which comes with a much larger battery. I actually get pretty much the same amount of usage when I'm using on the Galaxy Z Flip. Surprisingly, that's probably all thanks to the Snapdragon 855 Plus chip that's right inside. And that's one of the reasons why I'm actually liking the Z Flip. But the one thing that's disappointing is that it doesn't come with the 25-watt fast charging, which is kind of a little bit disappointing right there because I was expecting a faster charging speed on this thing because Samsung only included a 15-watt charging current for this thing. So It's gonna take a while to charge up this phone, but yeah, you just gotta exercise some patience when charging the Galaxy Z Flip and you're all good to go. The Galaxy Z Flip's cameras may not be as good as the S20 and S20 Ultra when it comes to their spec sheet, but by all means, this is not a bad camera. Now, take a look at these camera samples. The image quality is great overall. If you look at it, colors are punchy, you get great dynamic range and highlights, details as well. And I would say that it can definitely become a content creation device if you intend to use it to do so. Now, when it comes to low light, you can actually see that colors are also great. Details are also well maintained when I turn on night mode. So it's actually a pretty great low light shooter as well. Well, the only thing is the colors. So some people might not like the color saturation of these cameras because it's a very typical thing when it comes to Samsung smartphones. So either you use some filters or you use the editor to tone down the colors if you do not like that kind of saturation. There are two features that I really like about the Z Flip's camera software. Now, one of it is being single take. Now, this is available on the S20 and S20 Ultra, and it's one of the highlight features of those phones as well. Now, what it does is that it actually takes a video of you doing some funny actions that you want to do it, and it cuts into this couple of shots, and it automatically picks the best shot for you to save in your phone and for you to upload to social media if you want to, and it even helps to do some quick funny videos if you're doing some funny actions. It's a really smart feature that I really appreciate a lot when I was reviewing the S20 Plus, and I've been using this for my travel trip before the MCO, and it's a really great feature that I'm glad Samsung has included in the Z Flip's software. The second feature is the Pro Video mode. The Galaxy Z Flip supports video recording up to 4K at 30 frames per second, and I'm glad that Samsung has finally brought back this Pro Video feature, which has gone missing after the One UI software update, and it's now back on the Galaxy Z Flip's One UI 2.1 software, where you can adjust ISO, shutter speed, adjust colors, focusing, and a lot of other stuff inside the viewfinder if you want to take great videos. Overall, the Galaxy Z Flip is a very decent smartphone, and I never thought I would really fall in love with this form factor after using it for a week. Now, of course, I will definitely buy the Z Flip after its price drop, but I guess it probably wouldn't drop that far, because at this point of time, the phone costs 5,888 ringgit, which is a really steep price tag to pay for a smartphone. Now, of course, you are definitely paying for its form factor, which is really unique at this point of time. But if you're just buying this phone for its specs, just don't, because you can definitely get cheaper Snapdragon 855 Plus devices out there, which is at least 3 to 4 times cheaper of this price. But really, when you buy this phone, you really just gotta show off this folding form factor. Alright, so that's pretty much about my thoughts and review of the Galaxy Z Flip. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Comment down below if you have any questions about the Galaxy Z Flip. Share this video to show your support and give us a thumbs up if you like this video. For now, thanks for watching. Subscribe to our channel for more videos like this, and follow us on the usual social media channels, and I will see you in the next video.